Manchester, Maine is my preferred place to go when I am looking for antiques or just browsing, even if I don't have anything in particular that I'm looking for. At this location, they have different sections or booths almost that they rent out, and people can choose to put whatever items they want there. I'm sure they have to meet some kind of criteria so that it is actually antiques that are being put out. Each person chooses to organize their space a little bit differently, and sometimes different booths have percentages off. For example, we did go on Black Friday, and this booth had 20% off every item, and there were several other booths on that day that had percentages off. And I have visited at other times when it wasn't Black Friday, and there have been percentages off at a handful of booths, so I think that it's something that sellers can choose to do kind of whenever they choose. I really just enjoy going and sort of pondering through what is available. I don't typically go with a set item in mind that I'm looking for. I would say the only category that I consistently know I'm interested in looking at is glass bottles. I really have an affinity for various ages of glass bottles, colors of glass, and sources where they located and origins or purposes. And this particular booth always has lots of great glass bottles, and they are at fantastic prices. Most are under $10 a piece, a lot under $5. So this is a booth that I visit every single time I come to this antique store because, as I mentioned, the prices are just great. I also really appreciate all the information that's on the tag. Of course, I am trusting the seller that that information is correct, but I don't have any other way to prove it correct or incorrect, so I choose to believe it and know that ultimately I'm purchasing these items because I just really truly enjoy collecting glass bottles and displaying them on our front porch. Another item that I have come to look for every single time I come here is Longaberger Baskets. I have a basket obsession in general, but when I know that they are Longaberger, I trust that they are good quality, and so that makes me want them even more. So I do always take a look, and I typically pick ones up when I feel like the price is really great. I'm a passive collector, I would say, so while I do really enjoy them, I also try to be mindful and purposeful of why I'm purchasing the item, and I try to avoid purchasing simply because I enjoy it. I want to enjoy it and know that there is a purpose for it. So small little baskets like this are actually what I really tend to gravitate toward because they can organize some smaller items in my home, and they don't take up a ton of space, so I feel like there's a variety of places that I could choose to use those smaller baskets to organize something around the house. And knowing that I'm purchasing an item and bringing it into my home and it has a purpose is really powerful. This egg here, this polished agate egg, really caught my eye because when I was a child, I spent a lot of time at my grandmother and grandfather's house on my dad's side, and my grandmother had a whole dish full of those polished stone eggs. So that just gave me a little flash from the past to my childhood of those eggs. I played with them all the time, so they, I would say, are a core memory for me. I'm a little bit regretting not bringing these candle trees home. They're quite beautiful, and part of me wishes I brought them home, but I know I wouldn't have burned them, so hopefully I left them and they will have gone home with someone who will love them and possibly burn them as they were intended to be. I have an interesting relationship with vinyl records. Vinyl? Don't even really know what you should call them, I guess. I love the idea of them, and I love the idea of collecting them and actually playing them. We had a record player, and it was my husband's when he was younger, and so I don't really remember all the details. We don't have it anymore. It didn't work properly, and so we got rid of it. So I resist purchasing records because I know we don't even have a record player to play them on. But every time I go to an antique store anywhere that I see records, I always peruse them because I just wonder if there's anything in there that I really feel like I need to have, even though I have no way of playing it. I don't know. I love the idea of them. I love that they're older, I guess. Complicated emotions around records, clearly. A trait that I possess is a collector mentality. I really enjoy the concept in collecting items, but there's another side of me that really enjoys the freedom of not having a lot of items around me in my home. So I'm trying to find the balance between collecting things that I'm passionate about, but also keeping my collections manageable and intentional so that I don't end up feeling overwhelmed at the amount of items I have in my home. So I do really get a lot out of just viewing items and not purchasing them necessarily. It fulfills some kind of desire within myself, and I feel like I can view them, not bring them home, and be at peace with that. And there are a handful of things that I bring home. I don't think I've ever visited this antique store without bringing something home, but I do try to, as I mentioned, keep it intentional and purposeful.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends, this being more than friends, yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day, yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two.
Through Brandon, I have built an affinity for cast iron. He really appreciates cooking with cast iron, and I've mentioned in a couple of my vlogs, but he is the primary cook in our home as well as baker. So whenever I see cast iron items like this, I always envision how cute it would be to make things in them. And luckily, I have gotten to the point where I realize the reality of actually using them to bake or cook in them, and so I don't often pick them up, but I do always touch them, look at them, and imagine if I were to bring them home.
Dancing up in the stars. Oh, where I'd rather be than with you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, I just feel so lucky.
Another category of antiques that my interest is increasing in is furniture. I've heard the saying, they don't make things like they used to plenty of times, but I'm starting to truly understand that from a first-hand perspective. Being a homeowner and having furniture pieces, I have already had to replace multiple furniture-related items in my home that I was the first owner of and first purchaser of, and that's been frustrating to have not owned something for very long and have put intention into taking care of it, and for that to not have panned out. So I have an interest in older furniture pieces because, as the saying goes, they are made more sturdily than present-day furniture. So I didn't purchase any furniture pieces on this trip, but I did look at plenty.
What's it like to be the one that he turns to when he's sad or when so
This is the smaller version. I think these are called 45s, or am I making that up? Regardless, it was fun to go through them and see what there was available. I wouldn't even know where to get a record player that could play the smaller ones. Actually, now that I'm saying that, I think the one that we had played both sizes. So probably that's true of most record players.
Like every day, don't know what to do or what I should say, 'cause I have got him on my mind, but he has to know my name. I wanna hold his hand, 'cause I can't stop thinking about him. And would he understand if I told him how I feel about him? Oh, 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 oh. I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name, and I'm running out of time. I wish he felt the same, and I'm acting stupid like every day. Don't know what to do or what I should say, 'cause I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name.
I also find that I appreciate dishes that have recipes right on them. A family member has some dishes that have a crepe recipe on them, and so when I saw this one, I just had to stop and peruse the recipe on it for a moment. I do not personally enjoy blue cheese, so it is not a dish that I had any desire to own, but it, I'm sure, will please someone. I am learning that one of the downsides to making vlogs of my trips to the antique store is that as I am reviewing the footage and editing it, I am seeing items that I resisted in the moment that I'm now wishing I purchased. And so this little 5-piece set of mixing bowls slash measuring cups is something I wish I had picked up. And so I guess maybe if it's meant to be, the next time I go, they'll still be there, but we'll see. Any other 90s kids out there? These glasses that were from McDonald's are something that I have a handful of them, but every time I see them, I always want to grab another one and add it to my collection, as well as these Welch's glasses. They just scream my childhood to me. I do have children. If you've been around on my channel, then you know I have a 9, 7, and 4-year-old, but there are just only so many glasses that they need, so I did not purchase any. I am proud of myself for that, but it was not for lack of wishing that I could bring them all home with me. Brandon loves sloths, so when I saw this, I had to just capture a couple seconds of footage of it for him. Yet another brand that I really enjoy is Pyrex, particularly their glass line. So this red Pyrex dish with a lid and the matching one behind it definitely grabbed my attention. Something I would have loved to have brought home. Realistically, don't know what I would use them for, so I left them. I practiced that self-control, but again, it was something I would have liked to have brought home. These two little Longaberger baskets really made my heart flutter when I found them. This one that I'm holding right now, I did end up purchasing. It was originally $15, but there was a sale going on at this booth, so I ended up paying $12 for it. The sale was on items that were over $10. This other little one that I'm about to pick up was exactly $10, and I was hoping that it would still be the percentage off. Because it was exactly 10, it did not end up being part of the percentage off, and I was just being stingy, and I ultimately left that one at the checkout and did not bring it home. But that other one with the handle did come home with me, and then I went on eBay and I found a matching one because the location where I put it in my home, it's the large doorway opening in between my dining room and my kitchen, and I felt like both sides of the opening needed the same little symmetrical basket, so I went on eBay and I found another one, and it has arrived, and toward the end of this video I did insert a clip of both of those in their new hanging spots. I don't even actually know what's inside of these bags, clearly some kind of fabric. I just took a couple seconds of footage of it because I really enjoyed how organized it was and just the hanging style. I don't think that those hanging bag type things were actually for sale, but I just really appreciated that level of organization, and so I clearly needed to capture some footage of it. Being for sale as well. Sometimes things like this are just there to hold jewelry, but the rack itself had a price tag on it, so I ended up purchasing that, and it was a percentage off, and I am going to gift it to Charlie for Christmas to organize her little pieces of jewelry. I always think of my dad. He and I I've grown up with him drinking Coca-Cola products, and so I had never seen these Christmas-inspired glasses. And so when I saw them, of course they made me think of my dad. I did want to grab them, but I think they were $10 a piece, and I don't know, I wouldn't have felt right about breaking up the set, and I didn't want to spend $50 on 5 glasses that I would probably shy away from using for fear of them getting broken. So ultimately, they stayed. How excited are you that we are at Longfellows, Alex?
I'm excited that we're here because it'll be over sooner than when we weren't here. Chase,
Let's go.
are you excited to be at Longfellows?
Yes.
Like authentically excited?
Yeah, like I actually want to buy all the plants.
Okay. You, on the other hand, not so much.
She will be like the one who buys the most plants.
No, I
Tasha always
haven't
is.
bought anything today.
You
Not
haven't?
a single thing.
It's
besides
crazy.
This. Well, actually, I didn't even
I
buy
didn't
that.
even buy
so.
that. So yeah, I think you actually owe me a plant.
Oh, yeah, Alex.
It'll be over cheap.
Longfellows. In the past, my sister and I have gone all out on Black Friday. We have stayed up on Thanksgiving and not gone to bed. We've gone out at midnight, been at stores, going in stores, starting our shopping. And as I have aged, I no longer feel like I have the stamina for that. So that is something we opted not to do this year. So instead, we just did a little bit of low-key shopping, and we went to the antique place, Longfellows, Target, and Starbucks, and that was it. And I really didn't have anything specific on my list that I was looking for. There just seems to be so many online deals these days, particularly since COVID, I guess. Black Friday couldn't really look as it traditionally had, so it seems like those online sales are much more prevalent even than they were a couple of years ago. So didn't really have anything on my list that I had to have, so I just decided where would I like to go on this day and just see the sights. And so I am pleased that the places we chose were not super busy. The only place that we did go that was busy was Target. Not surprising, but the greenhouse and the antique store were not very populated at all, and that was really refreshing to just be able to peruse and enjoy ourselves and not feel like we were in a massive crowd. Longfellows is a greenhouse that I have done a vlog on before. I absolutely adore this greenhouse. It is my favorite place any time of the year, but particularly toward the winter months. And on this day, it was overcast and drizzly and a little bit chilly. So even though it isn't technically winter yet, it was still really refreshing to go in and spend time with the plants and smelling the really organic, fresh smells. The air just feels clean in a greenhouse, and I am so appreciative of the endorphins that it releases for me. I love plants. I feel like my problem with plants is that I don't have enough realistic places for them in my home, particularly since we brought Hank home. He has some kind of affinity for plant dirt, and he's rather odd about it. It's something about knocking a container of plant dirt off of a surface like the counter or a windowsill that really brings him joy. He doesn't do anything with the plant afterwards. He doesn't do anything with the dirt afterwards. He just swats it off of whatever location it was on, watches it fall to the ground and make a giant mess, and off he goes. I have a couple of plants that are right down on the floor. He doesn't bother them at all, doesn't sniff them, doesn't pay any attention to them. So it's just truly something about swatting them and watching them make a mess that apparently brings him joy. This display of poinsettias truly took my breath away. It was incredible to see so many luscious red poinsettias lined up side by side like that. What a beautiful sight. And these Christmas cactuses also brought me a lot of joy. I ended up bringing home a peach-ish colored one. I really wanted a peachier peach, but of the options that were available to me on that day, this was the best peach. And maybe this truly is just the peachiest I'm going to get for a Christmas cactus, but I feel like in some pictures I've seen on social media sites, I feel like they've looked more peachy, and that's where I got the idea of having a peach Christmas cactus in my head. But it's beautiful. I love it. I'm happy I brought it home. I also brought one of these home, and it's quite unique and beautiful. I'll talk to you more about that toward the end of the vlog. I cannot remember how to say the name of it, but I do read the name of it. Oh, cyclamen. I do also read the name of it at the end of this vlog. beautiful. None of these ones were blooming on this particular day, but I have gifted one that was blooming before to a dear friend, and my goodness, it was gorgeous. It was in bloom when I gifted it, and I have wanted one since, just haven't brought one home. They were doing a couple of raffles while we were there. I must not have won any of the raffles, sadly, because I haven't gotten a call, and I think the date that I would have gotten a call has come and gone, but it was fun to participate and know that there was a possibility of winning. I think these little guys are hedgehogs, and they made me think of Charlie because she is in love with hedgehogs these days. Treasures from the thrift store today. I got this little Longaberger basket that could be hung on the wall or something, and this was $12. It was originally $15, but the person who was selling this item had a 20% off sign, so that came down to $12. And then I got a couple of bottles varying in age. Really liked this one because of the top. Just felt really neat. This one was $2.75. I also grabbed this one, Fragrant Sozodont for the teeth and breath. This one was also $2.75. And then this one's not as old, but I really loved the color, so I grabbed this one for $4. Cathedral brand. Wallbridge Co. Dunsmuir Cow. Don't know. Chief Wahoo Electric Tonic. Chief Wahoo. Celebrated Remedy. And then I did grab a little jewelry and necklace holder that I had showed earlier when I picked it up, but I've already hidden that because that's going to be for Charlie for Christmas. So she's home as I am home now, so I wanted to get that put away. So that's already put away. And then at the greenhouse, my very favorite greenhouse that I know of in this state, Longfellows, I got these two plants. This is a Christmas cactus, and it's a peachy color. There were some there that the flowers had already bloomed, so I was able to see exactly what color they were. And I have a bright pink one already. Actually, I think all of the variations I currently have are bright pink, so I wanted a different color Christmas cactus, so I grabbed that one. And then this plant I have never seen, and I just was enamored with it from the moment that we walked into the store. They had a variety of displays of them. I'm trying to find the tag so I can recite its name accurately for you. Oh, there it is. Cyclamen Mini Winter Cream White. So, was really just enamored with it from the time that I went into the store. I was going to originally purchase a smaller variation, a 2.5-inch pot, a 2.5-inch pot, but that was only $2 less than this 6-inch pot, 4-inch. This might be a 4-inch. Anyway, it's significantly larger, and it was only $2 more, so I opted to go with a slightly larger one. But the flowers are interesting because they open from the bottom, and then the leaves just fold upward, or the petals fold upward, and they're very unique. So home with me it came. That is going to be it for today's vlog. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed our trip to the antique store and the greenhouse, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!